First impression time, Splatoon 2. How does it feel sometime into the game? Now, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I kind of mess with the early life of a console, limited games and all. It feels like a wild west of games and ideas. Having a small amount of games always had me mess around with the console's features. For things like the DS, that was DS Download Play and PictoChat. The 3DS had a lot more applications to work with, like Street Pass, Face Raiders, AR games, along with some other just general real games you could call them. Moving to today's topic is the Switch. I had my eye on basically every game in the Switch early lifespan. I mean, trying to figure out any and all games and which ones were fun were the priority of me and my friend group. When I got the Switch a few months into release, the only game I had and honestly needed was Breath of the Wild. The scope of that game kept me occupied until my next game pickup a while later. Of course, I was trying out demos and just other games with what my friends had on their Switch as well, like games like Puyo Puyo Tetris, ARMS, Snipper Clips, and 1-2 Switch. 1-2 Switch sucks. Lastly is today's impression, Splatoon 2. My brother had Splatoon 2 as his only game the same time as me, and I gave it a match or two once, just kinda out of the whim, and I actually quite liked it a lot. I proceeded not to play it again until this year after buying it secondhand for like $15. Worth it. Now, backing up even more, I had a Wii U. I know, brave statements only on this channel. I had a typical spread of games, but skipped out on the original Splatoon. It was in a time period of late high school where my brain just said lame, trash, and moved on, kids game and all. I know, ironic for a Nintendo fan, I guess. I didn't have a single ounce of interest, multiplayer shooter games not really being a big jam for me anyways. And by the time Splatoon 2 arrived, I had stopped caring about whatever reason I did want to play Splatoon 1 and had a genuine interest. I just never picked up any of the games. Usually due to prioritizing other game interests or feeling like I won't get my money's worth because I put down the game after a very small number of hours because, once again, not really a big multiplayer guy. With Splatoon 2, I can say that those fears will be squashed for the eventual Splatoon 4. If you're unfamiliar with Splatoon's gameplay, it's a 4v4 team shooter with squids. The kid squids play a game of covering territory of a map. The most ink wins the game. You choose your weapon of choice for ink coverage and splatter the map down with whatever color you get as you make your way through the chosen map. You can take out your opponents as they will do a classic respawn at the base, but you technically don't need to. Along with main weapons, you get sub-weapons and a special. All do damage, cover ground, or something typically useful. Enemy ink hurts players, whether you're just walking in it or getting shot at with. Your movement is slowed down in enemy ink too, like waiting in some FromSoft poison swamp, and you will die if left there. Staying in your own ink, as one could deduce, is good. You don't die there. Base movement speed is not super fast, but each inkling has the squid mode, where they swim through the ink. This works wonders as a way to swiftly move to ends of the map, but evade enemy onslaught. Once the 3-minute timer is up on the match, the map is shown and scored. Battles are quick, fast-paced, and hectic. Tides can turn in the last 30 seconds or a minute, and you gotta stay locked in. Each match, you get points towards your overall rank. This allows you to mainly flex on your haters, but also buy more weapons in the shop. Shops open up early, using currency gained from matches as well. Weapons are most complex, so let's start there. Each weapon has a type, while also having previously mentioned sub-weapons and a special. The thing is that there may be the same weapon type that virtually works the same like a roller, but cosmetics aside, the sub and special are different. The subs and special cannot be changed out from the main set, making this an interesting choice. You may love the main weapon a lot, but despise the special, or maybe you think the sub weapon synergizes well with the main weapon in a different run. That's always a boon. You get a few guns per rank up, keeping the lineup fresh. There are a lot of different types of weapons: splatter shots, the dualies, roller, octobrush, and a goddamn sink. I've tried as many as I have, trying to mix it up as much as I could too, and I'm still not familiar with all of them, to be honest. There are a genuine high amount, which is great, keeps the gameplay fun. I've contacted the Splatoon Higher Council, aka people in my friend group who know the game a lot more than me and due to their hours played around the time the game actually launched. Now I believe the arrow spray and blah blah are considered new weapons, but I guess that checks out because I like these weapons a little bit too. I really like the arrow spray overall and the Splooshomatic as well, good rapid style fire weapons. I jive with a lot of the guns, though the sniper type weapons I dislike a lot. Not fun. The umbrella type working as like a riot shield shotgun combo is quite hilarious. The Gatling gun is also a lot of fun, but I feel like you need a balanced team with this one, along with many others. I'd say my overall favorite has to be the roller type weapon. I feel this is probably an obvious pick for many. I see a lot of players online with it as well. The roller is a cool weapon though, with the pros and cons on its sleeve. It is a fast covering ground type weapon, rolling ink anywhere you run. You hit an enemy, they go splat. There is a melee swipe which does shoot some paint in front of you if you get into a confrontation. It does use a lot of ink though, so you'll run out very quickly. Caught off guard however, and you usually are gone. Also, I see clashing with an enemy roller can be interesting. Usually this ends up in both sides committing the big splat. I like this one specifically due to it feeling like an easy concept to understand, but deadly if you really master it. Now this works for basically every weapon, I understand that, but you get the gist I'm sure. The game is nice enough to try out different aspects and see which works for you and your playstyle or your team. Moving to the Splat Drip, you can customize your headgear, shirt, and shoes. These all have unique visuals as you'd expect, but come with bonuses when wearing. Things like main weapon power-up, faster respawn, and more are here. Some clothing pieces hold more spaces for multiple abilities than others. Stacking can be really goated. I genuinely do not know how effective versus not effective they are for the skills they provide. I mean, any bonus is probably good in my opinion, but don't take my advice from me, I've barely put enough hours into it than many others, and I'd say no need to min-max the skills unless you really are trying to go some sort of competitive way. I mean, I guess just enjoy the drip to your heart's content. Wrapping up the main multiplayer mode, well, it's good. It's really fun and obviously the main focus. Unless Nintendo strikes with people dropping out of games. Cannot tell if this is people specific or simply rage quitting, but usually spells game over for the team that it does happen to. Does kind of blow and doubly so for the year 2025. There's not as many people playing, of course, as well. With the shinier Splatoon 3 in the console, 2 is not really super used anymore, go figure. I still get frequent matches, and every now and then I struggle to get into a lobby that doesn't start a match until you get your team of 8. It is what it is, but I figured I should at least mention it. Salmon Run is a side mode that was highly praised when released. I got to try it out a few rounds, and honestly it was really tough, but I see why everyone liked it. It's a team of 4 collecting eggs and fighting the waves of zombie-like enemies. There are a bunch of special types, all with their own specialties, fighting style, and weaknesses. They can be obvious run enders, but maintained well is the key here. You gotta know their weaknesses, you gotta play with your team. The 4 weapons get assigned at random and communication is really key. Playing with 3 friends is kinda helpful here, able to talk it out on the fly, I think. These zombie-like waves, as I said, get mixed up with the different enemy types, make it all chaotic. The rotation of weapons can honestly really make or break a run. But I like this a lot and definitely want to try it out some more. Punching a wave last second with 1 player alive, just hitting egg quota really hits different, man. It's one of those exhilarating feelings I really didn't get from the main gameplay loop. I think if you were on the fence, just give this game a try. Honestly, probably Splatoon 3, but you get what I mean. I understand the $60 launch price tag can be intimidating for a just try it, bro, because Nintendo hates to put their games anything less. I think the recommendation will go up higher if you get some friends to play some matches with, of course. There aren't always guaranteed to be on your team, but playing into the lobby is a good time. If you like multiplayer games and are put off by the cutesy art style, I don't know what to tell you, man. I was there once and I just got over it. The art style does really make sense and it's fun for all ages. The ink colors clash amazingly well and it's a perfect artistic style to do. And also, a constant rotation of colors really keeps it unique. I love it a lot. I said it near the beginning, but this has made me want to get in on the action near release of the game. Splatfests have been something I've always missed out on the hype, but I've seen constantly talked about. I think going hard in those would be super sick. Playing with more people too would be awesome, so consider me a new fan of the Splatoon series. I'll try out 3 eventually, as it looks equally as fun. This is an easy game to pop in the Switch and play a few rounds with some friends. When the inevitable 4 comes in, I'm really excited to see what this game has to offer and what new things are going to be changed into the series. I'll keep up with the series more, but I'm really liking what I've played so far. Makes sense why the series got so popular for Nintendo so damn quick. Make the online better for Switch 2 and you got a sick deal for that 4th game. Don't let this one sit out forever and rot like your ever-growing pile of unused IPs. Please, Nintendo. This one actually has potential to continue around for a while.